Man, your English is actually really damn good, huh? You're like you're like across the world from me, and it's crazy where times have gotten, right? Tell me, how
It
did that happen?
it is. It's pretty interesting because I grew up in Malaysia,
Hmm.
and in Malaysia, I attended a Chinese school, which means that I learned I did learn English, but math and science was taught in Chinese.
Hmm.
So my primary mode of communication was in Chinese. I spoke English as well, but pretty much broken conversational English. Still not too bad. Then I came to Singapore when I was 12 years old. I came here alone, and I pretty much went through the entire educational system in Singapore from we call it secondary school, but it's pretty much high school,
Hmm.
middle school or high school. And yeah, I pretty much grew up all the way till today, and it's been 10 years since then, 10,
Did
11 years.
did they really push English in Singapore?
Yeah, so English
Okay.
uh, is the official language in
Hmm.
terms of pretty much anything that's conducted in Singapore. So
And
it's
do
pretty
you feel
standard here.
do you still speak Chinese?
Yeah, I do. I speak Mandarin and Malay still, conversationally. Not too well, but still okay.
And has that helped you? Having that, two, three languages behind your back.
It has actually, surprisingly, and Mandarin is a big help, especially
Hmm.
when dealing with Chinese clients or clients that speak primarily Mandarin. Uh, Clients in Hong Kong, China, Taiwan. So that's pretty interesting. But honestly, I do have to brush up on my Mandarin. It's
Yeah,
not too
it's
great now. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because everywhere you're going now, it's like, and it's not like you're always in Singapore anyway. I'm Singapore, right? I'm seeing you're traveling, more and more.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I do spend quite a bit of time in Malaysia because I
mhm.
do have a team in Kuala Lumpur in
Mhm.
Malaysia, as well as I attend a couple of conferences throughout the year in Europe and the States as well. But most of my time is still spent in Singapore.
That's
Yeah.
Joshua Chin, everybody. Be sure to check him out. If you're listening to one of the podcast avenues and you want to put a face to the name, be sure to check him out on Facebook. That's joshua.chin.jl, or on his LinkedIn, joshua-chin-jl, and as well as his agency, which is called Chronos Agency. You can check the website out at chronos.agency. And is that you don't always see that that marker, I guess, right? Dot agency
Yeah,
for
the
websites.
domain.
Yeah, that domain.
Yeah,
Is that like a newer trend? I'm not gonna lie, I've only maybe seen that like once before in my life.
yeah, it definitely is a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get chronosagency.com.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually owned by another company,
There's
and
always
I
there's always
figured,
that one company you're like, man, why? They
yeah,
they they,
exactly.
they don't even operate anymore. They actually failed in business, but they still own it. And I have the same problem with hodgepodge.com. Nobody even like
Yeah.
uses it. It's like they're lost in the world, but it's worth like tens of thousands of dollars. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So if you search Chronos Agency, you'll get Chronos.agency as one of the top results and not chronosagency.com because
Hmm.
it's not really
It's
active
crazy.
anymore. Yeah,
And does that have
it's
anything
been.
to do with your marketing skills to get it up there?
I would attribute that to my marketing team. I honestly, I'm not the best at digital marketing. I'm learning a lot from my team.
Hmm.
So all credit goes to them. It's yeah, I think that's really the way that we've been operating, getting people who are usually much better than me in a certain function, or much better than my co-founder in a certain function, get the person in, build up the whole operating system in that department, and then teach us how to use that operating system. That's been
So you're telling me doing it alone is not the end all be all, huh? Like we always think, right? Because there's a lot of people out
that
there that
yeah.
think it's, if you do it by yourself, no one else can control it, and it's all, for you, and you have the final say. But here you
My
didn't do that, right?
yeah, my perspective is to really scale beyond a level that you're comfortable with, you got to get uncomfortable with, delegating, with assigning responsibilities beyond giving up control, essentially. And that's honestly the most difficult part of building a business, I felt, in my experience. It might be different for different people. I know of business owners who operate as a solo operation, doing millions in revenue per year. It is definitely possible, but it's not the norm. Those are definitely outliers. I found that to scale and to learn really quickly and to grow really quickly as an individual and as an organization, I found that the best way is to get people who are much better than you, convince them to join the company, hire them, work with them, find a way to incorporate them into the business.
And how do you convince someone that is, like you said, much better, for example, but maybe if you are a startup still, you don't have that money to be able to just pay out someone? Like what kind of creative strategies did you come up with?
So I would say we had a privilege of being a very revenue-driven company, a very cash-driven company. It is a service-based business, so we get cash up front for the services that we provide. There's a very short term period for payments, so we have the ability to pay for good talent. So we definitely spoiled on that front.
Okay.
But something that really helped us in communicating our value as a small company that not a lot of people know about.
Exactly.
Is our vivid vision. So it's hard to pronounce, but it's vivid vision, and it is a painted picture of our objective, or it's more like a mission statement than anything. Sort of a destination for a certain time frame. In our case, it's a 3-year time frame, and most vivid visions are built that way because the founder of this idea, Vivid Vision, Cameron Harold, he came up with this idea because he believed that a 5-year time frame is too long. In 1 year, you can't really accomplish much. 3 years is a good time frame to estimate what you can achieve. So based on his ideas, we built a 9-page document that outlines in a very descriptive manner what we're trying to build. So this document basically presents the company in a written form in 9 pages. So it includes things like our core values, the snapshot of what a company looks like, our culture, what our headquarters look like, our team, what products and services we have, sales and marketing initiatives, what kind of media and awards and recognition do we have, our financials, community involvement, and as well as how we feel as founders about the company. So it's a really, really vivid depiction of where the company is headed towards.
Put a lot of work into that, it sounds like, right?
We did. It took 6 weeks for us to come up with this, and we even employed an external agency to help us out with the process. It was but it's very, very, very worth
effective.
It because now very effective. Essentially, what this does is it articulates what's on my mind into a 9-pager that I can hand off to anybody who's interested in working with us, either as an employee, a partner, a client. It's very easy to communicate our values and our mission.
So is it almost like a business plan, but it sounds like it's to a greater extent, right? Like you're focusing even more on the values instead of just number driven, right? Is that kind of?
So yeah, it's definitely not numbers driven, but it's not a business plan either. It's more of a destination, sort of like a point B that you key in your GPS.
Okay.
That's where you're headed towards. And our day-to-day job is to figure out the path to get there, essentially.
Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like a little sales pitch too, right? Essentially, right? To potential people.
Essentially. Yeah. Essentially like a sales pitch. So
that's very useful. And for anybody that wants to check that out and look into it, what is it called online if you want to search for it? Is this?
Yeah, it's Vivid Vision. Yeah. Vivid Vision, and The idea originated from a book called Double Double by Cameron Harrell.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. For any listeners that want to check that out, that's totally a different way of looking at it when hiring people and trying to bring people onto your company, especially if you are still like in the startup phase in the first 2-3 years, and it might be a little harder because there's a lot of other bigger corporations competing for you for your services. Yeah. Definitely.
Exactly.
And I guess how did you even get into this path? Like, when did you just wake up one day? You started about 2 years ago, right?
I did.
So
approximately 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
2.5. So, I mean, we're right, like in the same time frame. We both kind of started both of our businesses around the same time. Like, what happened one day? Did you just kind of wake up and you're like, hey, here I am, email marketing, boom, let's do it? Like, tell us that story.
Oh yeah, totally. No, that is
you're like, email's not a dying art. I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna go full out on email, double down. Like, damn.
Exactly.
How does this idea come about?
Man,
you're obviously crushing it.
I mean, when you first think about email marketing, it's like, what? I don't even open my emails anymore. I don't even open promotional emails anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anyone do that as a specialization? So it really occurred by chance, and there was a lot of luck involved, honestly. Prior to this, I was actually exploring a couple different ventures mostly online, actually. Actually, all of them were online. My first success story, I guess, it was a minor success, was eBay dropshipping. So it was dropshipping stuff. It was mostly retail arbitrage, where I was buying stuff off retail websites for a discount, selling them off as a full-priced item on eBay.
Yeah, I did that myself, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at a little point, I did it from like big retailers and stuff.
Yep.
But
same.
It's just like, man, it's such a hustle. It's like, and at the end of the day, it's tough. It's
a hustle.
Yeah.
And it's really, really competitive. There's no real value add. And that was my biggest sticking point, because at the end of the day, no matter how much money you're making, unless it's like a really, really a lot of money, it's gonna, the whole idea of not creating a lot of value is gonna haunt you it's gonna be a nagging thought in the back of your mind, mm-hmm. that you're not actually creating a ton of value in the marketplace.
And a lot of other people will try to do it too then, because if you're not like a pioneer.
Way too easy.
Yeah.
There is no way. Yeah. So I know of people who have done it successfully, dominating the eBay dropshipping space, but it's really difficult. It's really rare, and it's very difficult to differentiate itself. So I did that for a bit, and then made I would say a couple $1,000 of profits, and that's it. I realized that this is not something that I want to do for the long term.
Yeah.
So I pretty much just gave up on that. I would consider that a failure, I guess, minor success, failure. And then I started out taking tons of courses on digital marketing, copywriting, email marketing. And that was when I came across the boom on Shopify, the number of new Shopify stores coming up, from offline retailers coming online, from wannabe entrepreneurs starting their own business. And it's become so easy, and so many people are starting to realize how easy it's becoming. And I figured I came from to some degree an e-commerce background, some e-commerce experience, and it was really fun to some degree. And it's a growing industry. And if you look at the statistics, APAC, Asia Pacific, is set to overtake in pure e-commerce volume versus the rest of the world by 2023. So by 2023, APAC will account for more e-commerce sales than the rest of the world combined.
Really?
That's insane. Yeah. It's pulled off Shopify's website, but they have a case study on it. It's pretty interesting. But
so they're saying more than like the North America, right? Which is probably Number one right now?
All of it. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's incredible.
It's just such a growing
And
market out there.
it's such a growing market, and it's really exciting. And the fact that it's direct response, a lot of stuff that we do on e-commerce is direct response, where
Mm-hmm.
anything that you do is you're getting an immediate feedback or a very quick feedback as compared to running a brand activation campaign where you don't get information or data until say a couple months later or 6 months later, and you have to run like a market research kind of project on it. So it's much more fast paced and much more exciting to me. And I found a great vertical to focus on. And there were tons of courses teaching me how to run an email marketing campaign on an e-commerce store. And concurrently, there were tons of courses teaching you how to build an agency. So it was just a matter of piecing together different parts and trying it out, just like how I tried things out with eBay dropshipping. So I kind of just went on a full like sales hustle for a good 2 months without anything really.
Like without offering anything yet?
Yeah.
How did you do that? Did you pretend this idea was out there, or did you have that vision board, the vision statement?
No, I haven't had that. This was
Okay.
actually created just this year. But
okay.
At the beginning, I was really just building a lot of relationships with people in the e-commerce space, my ideal target audience. And I've identified that they usually hang out in Facebook groups and really engaged in Facebook groups. So I figured that's where I'm going to be. And in fact, that's one of the methods, the sales methods that one of the courses taught. So I started building out content on Facebook groups, started reaching out to people, having conversations on what their pain point looks like, how can I help them, what can I value add to their business. And I started offering services in managing their email marketing for free. And I did this for a good 2 months without having a single dollar.
All alone? Nobody else on your team at that point?
All alone, yeah. All alone. Exactly. So I was doing that as pretty much, and I treated it as an experiment.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I was still in school, so I had somewhat of a safety net to fall back on if things didn't go well. So I did that for a couple of months, and then came the first sale. I remember having a conversation with a prospect, and he was an extremely nice guy, great person, and well, now I realize that not every prospect that I speak to is going to be like that, but he really gave me he set a really good impression on what the future looks like in a way, where I enjoyed that process of having a conversation with this prospect. Things were going smoothly, and at the end of the conversation, he asked me, it sounds like you're doing an amazing work for these other free clients that you're working with. How much do you typically charge? And at that point in time, I was like, I don't know. I've never come to this far. I've never come this far before.
Yeah.
And I gave him the number, the first number that came to my mind. I was like, all right, it's this per month. And he's like, okay, sounds fair. I was like, what? You sure that's it?
You didn't ask
All
him.
right, cool.
Did you actually tell him that?
Nah, I didn't.
In your mind, you're like,
yeah, in my mind, I was, wow, okay. I was like, okay, I'll send you the contract. Can wire me the money, PayPal, or whatever it is, and we can get started tomorrow.
Little did he know you had no contract yet, right?
Yep, exactly. So kind of just built things along the way. So that was my first sort of validation of my business idea. Because when there is a customer that's willing to pay you cold hard cash, that is the best kind of market validation that you can get. No amount of market research can beat people paying you for something that you're offering. So that's how I got my start, and things kind of took off from there. I met great people. I continued the networking process,
Mm-hmm.
and referrals started coming in. So I relied heavily on just being in close
Groups.
close groups of people, networks, and communities,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, pretty much that's how I got started.
Mostly,
So
mostly online though, right? You were networking or in person?
it was mostly online, and I after the end of 2017, I started attending offline events as well, conferences, e-commerce conferences, events in the region in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's still so offline events are still part of a business development strategy till today.
And like, did you know that, like you mentioned, you took some courses in agencies, in emails and, other things. Why did you
And the,
choose email marketing? Like some would say, it's a dying art.
it's
That's
true. It's
definitely
true.
something you hear, right? I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
prove me wrong, prove us wrong. You know,
absolutely. Um, so I came across this guy called Ezra Firestone. He's pretty well known in the e-commerce industry.
he was on the
He's
show
in.
actually.
Oh, you got to speak to Ezra.
Yeah, he
Nice,
was on the show a few months back.
nice. Yeah. So,
Great guy.
he's a great guy. He's a great friend now. But back then, I was looking to him like as a mentor, someone who's made it in the e-commerce space, and he is a big proponent of email marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And in his business, it accounts for 1/3 of all revenue generated. So 1/3 of his entire business is generated with email marketing. And it's not just email newsletters, but also email automations, lifecycle marketing, segmentations, and a lot of the things that those people who say that email is dead don't really look into.
Mm-hmm.
So I got really interested in that because if I could impact the business to that degree, where I'm where my efforts are accounting for 1/3 of a company's total revenue, that's
Mm-hmm.
significant and that's exciting to me, and that's very measurable. And so I figured that's and it's not something that I cannot pick up. It's not something that I can learn if I put in the hard work. So yeah, I gave it a shot, and it worked out.
And I mean, I'm hearing numerous things now, right? Like studies that are out there that, let's just say, other avenues die out because things come and go. It's pretty cyclical. They're saying the one thing that has been around for the longest time is email. Like
It's
even though
true.
the response rate might not be as high, right? But there's more and
Yep.
more people that are still constantly using it. Is that kind of what is that the numbers you're using towards your advantage? Is that what you're looking at?
Absolutely. And in the e-commerce space, at least, it is something that people are kind of ignoring because it typically comes in the later stage of a business,
Mm-hmm.
especially since it relies on a lot of data, a lot of customer data that a startup e-commerce brand might not have. And they're most likely better off building the brand, investing resources into building traffic instead of building email marketing. So typically when people look at email marketing as an e-commerce brand, it's usually at the later stage where they're starting to scale, starting to grow. Um, and most people think about it in terms of just newsletters or email blasts.
Yeah.
And that's when they see open rates of like 10%, 5%, or even worse. And that's not the way to go because the average open rate that we are looking at as an optimized, segmented, as part of an optimized strategy with segmentations is approximately 20-30% minimum. So that's easily a 2 to 4x open rate of
Can you
what
give
a
us
typical
an
company is looking
example?
at.
Can you give us an example of the difference between that and the typical emails that we normally get on a daily basis or the newsletters and stuff?
Sure. a typical newsletter would be something that's super generic, something that's not optimized, or I'd rather say personalized to your preferences and who you are in your relationship with that brand. And optimized email, in my perspective, is there to the right person with the right message at the right time. So if you're able to achieve that, plus if you're able to automate that based on behaviors and events that happen, you're going to be way ahead of your competitors as an e-commerce brand.
Got
And
it.
that's what we drive it.
So it's like when Buffalo Wild Wings knows that I want wings that day and they send it to me that very specific second because the football game's going on in 2 hours. That's what we're talking about, right?
That's what we're talking about. Exactly that. So yeah, if you can go to that level of personalization and timeliness, that's going to be the most effective because people are the most receptive if it matters to them. If you're going to be telling me about, say, I don't know, a dress, I'm not going to be concerned about a dress. I'm not going to be interested in it. But if you tell me about, I don't know, a set of poker chips, and I like poker, I might be interested in it. And it's just these little tweaks into the whole email marketing system that will make all the difference. And it's accumulative because a part of it is automated. So once you set things up, it's pretty much ongoing on its own. Even when you're sleeping, even when everyone's out of work, that's the most awesome part.
So how do you feel about like the inspiring motivational daily emails? You know, like I got a bunch of those. You know, I have numerous different ones that keep coming in through. But for I feel like those are hard to open up because a lot of them just it seems like content is usually the same day in and day out. Like, what's your thought on that?
It is, and it sounds like they don't exactly understand what you care for. Because if you receive an email about how to effectively promote your podcast or something related to a podcast, that's going to be very interesting, and I'm presuming that you're most likely going to open it, at least have a glance at it, versus an inspiring kind of motivational kind of thing. So those are the kind of pieces of information that brands need to start collecting from their customers and begin to build individualized customer portfolios or profiles rather, and then targeting them with relevant content. Motivational stuff, inspirational stuff, that could be relevant, especially if the person
but it's very general, right? Yeah.
It still is, yeah. It still is. There is a place for it. There is still definitely a place for it. It still works for, depending on what kind of business it is, what kind of an audience they're speaking to. But it's really important to have the two-way kind of a interaction where you're collecting data, understanding your customers a little bit more through surveys, behaviors. And, it's super easy to do with marketing software today. There are tons of them out there, and most of the latest email marketing softwares offer some degree of data analytics and data segmentation.
Yeah.
So
So would you say that is it better to almost have more people in your campaign, or is it better to have the right people then at the end of the day? Because I feel like I got signed up to a lot of emails and stuff just naturally because I meet a lot of people. And I feel like some of them, it just makes me it makes me turn off more to all these things because I keep seeing it day in, day out. But when there are those select few, which I hope anybody listening out there didn't really take your advice to heart, because now I'm going to get blown up with podcasting emails. So thank you. But would you say, what do you think is better then? Do you want to just keep growing your list and hoping it's a numbers game, or just focus on who really would actually get your product and your message?
So it really is a balancing act between the two. Quality is definitely has to be there all the time, but without a significant volume of customers, of significant volume of subscribers, customer data, you won't be able to have a significant way to segment your list.
Got it.
And you won't have a significant way to split test. So you won't exactly get very relevant data out of a very small list. And sometimes, if it's a list even as small as, say, 20 to 100 people, you might even fare better as writing emails pretty much as a very personal, in a very personal way, as if to a friend, and having an actual conversation back and forth with subscribers. Right. So it's a completely different strategy at that stage versus at volume, when you're trying to personalize at scale. And that's where software comes in pretty handy.
So how would you, what last, I know we're really picking your brain here, but these are all things that I think people could use, and it's very useful information. What would you say is the most effective way to gather emails, especially if, like, say you have a business, say you have a podcast, like what's been your number one way of gathering emails?
Absolutely. So it depends on what your business is. As a podcast, I would say, it definitely depends on a traffic source. Well, traffic source definitely has to come before collecting emails. Email capture can happen in quite a couple of ways, actually. With e-commerce brands, particularly the ones that we work with, we have pop-ups, slide-ins, inline opt-in forms, as well as landing pages for just pure lead capture. So those are a couple of ways that we kind of incorporate that technical aspect of leading people into a new funnel. But what really matters is how you position that offer itself. Why should I give you my data?
Exactly.
Why should I give you my email? Something that is really relevant to a podcast like Boss to Boss would be what matters to your audience. So I'm going to throw the question back at you. What do you think your audience cares about?
Something free, I guess, right? Some kind of free content, something of value. Maybe it's a free book. Maybe it's a free subscription to something. Maybe it's getting to meet someone. All right. I mean, it's maybe someone that was on the show before. I don't know, something like that, for example. Yeah,
that's a great place to start. So I like that. So a free meeting with someone on the show, that could be a giveaway.
Yeah,
and that could be a great
be so
way.
Hard to do.
That would be difficult, but it would be really, really interesting if you manage to pull that off, especially since I would assume that your audience are primarily people who are interested in entrepreneurship, interested in building their own business or getting out of 9 to 5.
Oh yeah.
Meeting someone who's been there, done that is probably going to be very, very interesting to this group of people. Alternatively, something that's a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a compiled ebook of your top 10 learnings, top 25 learnings from all the various speakers, all the various podcast attendees that you've spoken to. That's going to be super interesting, like a summarized version of, actionables that you took away from having all these conversations. I think that's going to be very interesting, especially if someone is in a 9 to 5 job or something even more intense than that, and they're just way too tired to listen to a podcast for whatever reason. They want something that's a little bit more bite-sized. That could be an interesting way to get them into the ecosystem.
I did not just write that down. I did not. I was just so you know, I did not.
But yeah, honestly, try it out. It's a great way to start. But yeah, start thinking about what your audience might find value in. That's how I would start thinking about lead capture.
And for everybody listening, I hope you took that kind of to heart and maybe did that exercise as we were talking here about, for example, podcasting. but whatever it is you're doing, you could think about it that same way towards your creative, towards your business, whatever it is you're doing, or whatever company you're at. Maybe you want to, give them some good ideas, and here you are standing out from the crowd because you got this awesome email campaign idea. So be sure to reach out to Joshua Chin and give him a thank you. Once again, his Facebook, it's joshua.chin.jl. His LinkedIn, joshua-chin-jl, as well as the website, chronos.agency. And now it's on, and it's time for our listeners' favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name, because they're all taken.
What's that?
That's right. I saw those eyes get big. You're ready. I hope you had your. Actually, no. I was gonna say I hope you had your coffee, but.
I just did.
At this time. Well, yeah, I saw you.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm all about decaf now too, man. I can't do regular. I don't know, but. Without further ado, you're going to have 5 seconds to just initiate a few answers. Just throw out some answers. We don't want you thinking too hard about this, but we want to see, who the subconscious mind really is and who it reveals.
Okay.
So just some quick questions to get to know more about you. Otherwise, my producer, he's always lurking in the background when I interview people. He's like hiding out, and he gets pretty mad at me. So I don't want to have to deal with him. So without further ado, no pressure on you at all.
Sure.
What is your favorite book?
Principles by Ray Dalio.
That's a great one. What is your favorite movie?
My Forrest Gump.
Haha, classic.
Mm-hmm.
If you're stranded on an island, what is the one item you want with you? Can't be a person.
A generator.
Nice. I don't know what else you're going to generate out there, but I mean, I guess that works. I think that's a first. I think that's a boss exclusive, everybody. A generator. That's good. We can watch that thing run for a while.
I did not put a lot of thought to that.
Yeah, I know, that's good. Is entrepreneurism a fad?
It's not a fad. It's not a fad. It's a mindset. It's a mindset.
How do you drink your coffee?
Black and bitter.
And decaf, or just right now because it's late?
No, decaf. I do like 4 shots every day. It's becoming a problem.
Oh, damn. Yeah. It's a good amount. Coffee's one of those things where you could either you need it to live, or once you get off of it, it's like, I don't know. Don't think about it because I don't know. It's like a love and hate thing. But besides coffee, what is the one item that you consume every day? Maybe you eat it, drink it, or you just have to wear it on you, but it's the one thing that you can't go a day without.
Oh, wow. One thing.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be a consumable.
No, it could be maybe something you just wear every day, but it's like the one thing you can't go a day without.
My phone. I do pretty much anything on my phone. Work. I stay connected on my phone. It's the same for pretty much anyone.
Yeah, that's the easy answer. That's the easy answer.
I'm pretty simple. I don't carry a lot of things around. Wallet, and it's like even my wallet is just a bunch of cards just put together like that.
Oh, it's the same. I have the same kind, similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice little one. Boom, that's it. If you could start up any business right now, like you had an unlimited amount of money, you could start up anything you wanted in the world, but it can't be your own business. What would it be?
Any business in the world. Wow, that's hard. I would say an ATM business, buy a bunch of ATMs in the United States. Yeah. I watched
that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a matter of scaling, and it's purely an operational game.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much strategy that goes into it. It's just easy.
You just hope no one breaks into one of them because then you're kind of down. But besides that,
Yeah, exactly. So you account for the risk of that happening
yeah.
into your business.
Which
At scale, you can do that. So
I'm sure it's hard getting like a permit just to be able to do those though. Like I could see it being so competitive because like who wouldn't want to just have a money printing machine, right? At the end of the day.
yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's like getting I'm thinking of it comparable to like the gambling machines. Like nowadays I think you could have
Slot
4,
machines,
yeah,
yeah.
the slot machines. Like in the
Yeah.
US you could kind of, or I don't know if everywhere, but in my state at least you could have them like per each location could have like 4, I think, or 5. And it's like the most competitive thing ever. Like to get these little
Wow.
um
That's
to
like
get
a
these,
guaranteed win for the owner.
yeah, I mean, it's you bring them in right away. There's like a line of people waiting to play, and I don't think I've ever heard of like anybody actually winning anything. Maybe like a couple $100. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
You're just making money
It's
at that point.
you're just literally just printing money. It's crazy.
It's wild. But who's the one person that you're most nervous to meet? Like you can't wait to meet this person, and it's something you look forward to. And who would that be?
Ooh, wow, that's a good one. Ray Dalio. It would be Ray Dalio,
Okay.
yeah. If
Yeah,
that
right. I
happens,
mean,
that would be pretty cool, yeah.
that'd be pretty well. You should prepare, man. You got to put that like on your vision board, and it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
Only a matter of time. You already met Ezra, right? He was on your list, I'm assuming, before.
Yeah, he was actually. So it's pretty crazy.
It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. And last but not least, say I flew in, to Singapore. I was like, Josh, I'm gonna show you how we can make millions together, billions. And then I strolled in with my shorts and socks and sandals into a meeting with you. How serious would you take me?
I would take you seriously.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Is it a normal thing out there, or you just don't care anymore?
No, I don't know. I tend to trust people pretty easily.
Okay.
That's something that I gotta work with. But yeah, I mean, yeah, very, very easily trusting. But if someone's willing to put your word on the line with a claim like that,
mm-hmm.
I don't think, I would say most people are at least serious to some degree, regardless of how they look. And I typically try not to judge people by how they look.
Good way to put it. Good way to put it. I'll keep that in mind. So next time, when we do actually meet one day, I'm gonna keep you to it, man. Keep you to it. Well, you survived. I survived. Steve Wiley, my producer, did not come out. We are safe. You were getting close, man. A couple of those questions, you were getting close, but we got lucky there. So, last but not least, Josh, it's been a pleasure having you on. You got any final words for our listeners, especially those ones that maybe are miserable right now, that are, contemplating that next step in life or deciding what to do, next in their life, just to whether they should jump ship or whether they shouldn't. What's your saying to them?
I would say give it a shot, man. Just give something a shot. Just try it out. Especially if it's super low risk, like taking a new course, learning something new, making a new connection. It's all gonna take you one step further, regardless of where your end goal might be. Even if you don't know where your end goal might be, doesn't really matter. Doing something is usually the hardest part. It's that first step that is usually the hardest. And once you get that first step out of the way, you start to build momentum. It's really fun when you do.
Yes, it is. And do you have a great way to get over that first step? Because that's usually the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. So with, I guess I had a slightly unfair advantage because I didn't really have a job to begin with,
mm-hmm.
and I had somewhat of a safety net. But something that really helped me was understanding what my the reason why. And for me, it was a lot of pain. And there were points in time where I only had like less than $1 in my bank account. I was alone in Singapore. Obviously, I had relatives and stuff that I could rely on, but it didn't feel good. And I knew that my family couldn't support me financially, and I had to support them financially. And yeah, they went through some tough times when I was a kid, and they still are going through some tough times right now. So I know for a fact that I need to, get somewhere, amount to something, to give them a better life. And that's basically my why.
Your chip on your shoulder.
My chip on my shoulder, basically.
I love it. Awesome. Well, Joshua Chin, everybody, be sure to check him out. Check out his agency, Chronos.agency. No.com, Chronos.agency. Check out that website. Be sure to see him on there. And hey, man, it's definitely been a pleasure having you on. Looking forward to what's to come next. You guys have grown tremendously in your 2.5 years. You have over 40 employees now, and your clients 55. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you grew since since the week ago that I got your info. You grew by 15 employees.
Well, I think Regina gave you some outdated information, but yeah, we have 55 right now.
So okay, so it's not my fault. Good.
It's not.
All right, man. All right, I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next, man. Been a pleasure having you on.
Likewise, Miro. Thank you so much.
That is all for this episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit bosstoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.